Back to my channel here. This is Pedro Fame. We're back with another college football video for you guys, and this is going to be the top 10 tight ends that are coming into 2023. I noticed that you guys have been really liking these series lately, so we're going to keep it rolling here with the tight ends. Then next week we are actually going to be, curiously enough, we're going to be getting into the defense of ends and the backfields for next week. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit notification bell on this one. Obviously going to be a great list here. I recently saw this from PFF. Wanted to get you guys thoughts on who do you guys think are the top 10 tight ends. But let's get into it. Number one, there is no doubt about it. It is Brock Bowers. He was so great last year that he kept Darnell Washington on the bench. Guys, let me tell you something. Darnell Washington is 6'7", if I'm not wrong. Over 250 pounds. He was huge. He was a mammoth of a man. They played two tight end sets sometimes, and you would swear that Darnell Washington was the target. It was Brock Bowers. He's been the best player on Georgia for the past on offense for the past 2 years, freshman and his sophomore year. He's been absolutely phenomenal as a true freshman. He was already one of the top 5 best tight ends in the nation. This past year, he was the number one. He was absolutely a stud, had 942 yards. He led all tight ends in the nation in receiving yards, yards after the catch at 479, and then receiving yards after contact at 274. He is the John Mackey Award winner. I would bet all my money that he's going to win this again as long as he doesn't get hurt. He's a better prospect than even Kyle Pitts was when he was coming out, and Kyle Pitts was like a top 5 draft pick. So you could imagine Brock Bowers is going to go. I don't know if he's going to go as high because we've seen tight ends recently just really slip lately in the where they're drafted order. So I don't know if he's going to surpass Kyle Pitts in terms of where he gets drafted, but I certainly will suggest he will be a top 10 pick lock, 100% sure throughout the season. He could tear his ACL, and he would still be a top 10 pick guaranteed. I think Brock Bowers is absolutely a great tight end here. He's an amazing skills. He can do everything that you really need him to do as a tight end, and he does it at a really nice pace and level. Number 2 they had here was actually interesting because the number 3 guy is who I thought they were going to put at number 2, who I thought was better. But let's go ahead and get into number 2. Brevin Spann Ford. That's the Minnesota Gophers tight end. I like him. I think he's interesting. I think he's more better of a blocker than he is as a catcher, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of the reason why I think the number 3 guy will be picked higher and will be looked at a little more than the number 2 guy. But the Minnesota Gopher tight end is a really nice tight end. I've seen him a couple times. They're just playing the Penn State game. That wasn't one of the games that I know I saw. I know I saw one of their earlier games, I believe against Ohio State. That was the game that I saw him. He is huge, 270 pounds as they listed here. But to me, he's more of a run blocker than he is, and a pass protection guy than he is a actual receiving tight end threat, which the next guy, Ja'Tavion Sanders, is who I like more in this case. He actually kept off Jaleel Billingsley, who was supposed to be the starting tight end, but Ja'Tavion Sanders got it over ahead of him and did a tremendous job showing you why. He did. He got 32 catches combined for first downs and touchdowns. He only trailed Dalton Kincaid, who was, in my opinion, the best tight end in this year's draft, and Michael Myers, who was the second best. Or I had him, second best on the list of tight ends, and then I had Darnell Washington as my number 3. He only trailed those guys, obviously, in the best tight end, Brock Bowers, but he had 613 receiving yards. He only trailed Bowers in that category. He's 6'4", 242 pounds, so he's not the biggest tight end, but he's still great size for his position, and he is great weight-wise, 242 pounds. The tight end, you kind of want him as around 250 and really below, to be honest with you, when it comes to tight ends. If you want him to be a receiving threat, once you get above 250, you're not really a receiving threat at that point. The only person who I can say is Darnell Washington. But again, that's a once in a lifetime type of species of an athlete. You're not really going to see that very much going forward when it comes to that position, and he's likely going to be the number 2 guy, and he's my number 2 guy on the board. And then to me, this gopher guy isn't even the number 3 guy. Actually, it is Jaheen Bell. I love the fact that he did go to. I don't like the fact that he went to Florida State because I know Jordan Travis and them throw the ball a little more, but I think Spencer Rattler and that connection was a little better. Would have been a little better. But I know he was underutilized a lot at Carolina. That's the reason why he left. I heard he was very upset with South Carolina and Scott Satterfield, and he was very, very, very upset at the way that the offensive coordinator was putting him in positions, and he didn't like it, and he was going to leave regardless. So that's unfortunate. I think definitely Shane Beamer definitely should have fostered a better relationship there to not have this happen, but I do understand that things happen. He only saw 28 targets. That was the reason why I believe Spencer Rattler would have gotten him the ball more had their offensive coordinator not called a bunch of wide receiver sets instead of tight end sets, which is fine. It is what it is for him. I know he didn't have that much. He had 257 rushing yards, which led all tight ends in the country. He was used in that kind of tight end running back hybrid. He didn't like it. But he was great in 2021, and as a sophomore, he did lead all tight ends 3.67 yards per route run, and his 354 yards after the catch only trailed Brock Bowers. That was in 2021, not 2022. But him going to Florida State, I hope continues his success, and I hope he goes back to 2021 form, and maybe him and Jatavian Sanders are going to have a battle there for who's going to be the second tight end. But to me, currently, it's Jaheen Bell is a firm 3 there. Then I would have the go for 1 here, and then I have the absolute staple for Drake May and Bryson Nesbitt. He was absolutely phenomenal last year. Led all tight ends. To me, well, he didn't lead all tight ends, but he was one of the most impressive tight ends to me this past year. He had a tremendous breakout season, averaging 11.8 yards average depth of targeted ranked for a Power 5 tight end. He also averaged the 5th most yards per route and 2.21. He was the only tight end in the top 15 of yards per route with a double-digit average depth. And he's going to be absolutely amazing with Anton Green and Josh Downs leaving to the NFL. You can see Drake May lean more heavily on Nesbitt and could put up some Michael Mayer type numbers there. So really look out for him, especially with Drake May going to be in that Heisman Trophy running. You're definitely going to see him also pop up for the John Mackey Award, I believe, this season. Number 6, they have Benjamin Yorzek. I haven't watched him too much. I know I watched a little bit of his highlights here, but from what I saw, he is one of the best returning tight ends in the nation. He has over 1,099 receiving yards, 596 after the catch, which only trails Brock Bowers in the top 5 in the Power 5 rankings. He's absolutely a beast. Great skills in terms of receiving yards. Not too much as a running blocker, and not really as a pass blocker as well. He's pretty much just a receiving tight end, which is why his value is going to hurt a little bit because you can't put him out there for all 3 downs. He's definitely only a receiving threat. So if you don't have him out there receiving, if you have him in a run play or anything like that, you can't use him at all. You have to take him completely off the field, which is going to hurt your value tremendously once you reach the NFL level. But in college, it's totally fine. Number 7, my guy, Ohio State guy, Cade Stover. I absolutely love this kid. He is one of the best blockers, and he's such a good receiving tight end. He was so good to me as a tight end last year. He helped out so much, especially when Marvin Harrison went down. They started going to Cade Stover a little more there. Him and Emeka Egbuka were the 1 and 2 dynamic there once Marvin Harrison got hurt. It was absolutely tremendous to see. He is not going to be getting a whole lot of work just because of obviously who's out there, Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr., So they're going to be getting pretty much the load again, along with obviously the great tailbacks that they have there, Ohio State. So Cade Stover is going to be around the same margin he was about this past year. Maybe they give him a little more. I like him a little more than the Stanford kid, but we'll see on how that works. The Arizona State kid, Jalen Greene, he's slippery, man. The guy is absolutely slippery. He makes people miss. He's one of the best people that in terms of cutting. He has amazing cut ability. That's the reason why I think him as a tight end is really nice. I like his. For me, he's more like a bigger wide receiver, just the way he moves and the way he's able to put you in space and put you in problems. He's just so slippery and able to break a tackle and make you miss, which is why he's going to be very crucial to what Arizona State does with Kelly Dillingham, depending on who the wide receiver is there. Caden Prisker, the Ole Miss he was the John Mackey finalist this past season at Memphis, decided to transfer to Ole Miss here for his redshirt junior year. He was very good this past year. He had over 50 targets, 340 yards after the catch. He had an obviously impressive passer rating as a tight end. Now him going to the SEC, you can actually see him against Brock Bowers, same competition level, so we know to see if it really was true that he is this good, or was it just the group of five is what was really helping him out there, which is why I'm a little bit hesitant on him being on this list, but we will see, as he was a semifinalist last year. Sadhu True, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't really like the moves that he's been making. He went to Colorado. He said that he was going to be there with Deion, and then him jumping back in the portal to leave. I don't know what the hell is going on there with him. He's landed elsewhere, but I like actually the North Texas kid that ended up going to South Carolina. Let me see if I can do North. Because I know he actually is the one I wanted. Yes, here it is. Here's the kid. This kid here is actually one of my top 10 tight ends this upcoming year, and his name is Varquis Gums. He is a guy who's going to be replacing, obviously, Jaheen Bell, who left. He's not going to be the same level of production, as he is a smaller tight end, 6'3", 230 pounds, but he is so dang good. Guys, I watched his highlights. He is so dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he's a powerful runner, which I really like for his size. He was first team all tight end at Conference USA, coming from North Texas. He is going to be so cold, guys, so cold when coming in. He's gonna work really hard for them. He's a really good player. I believe he just was put in the wrong situation. Obviously, he had battled with injuries his junior year and then COVID season. That was the reason why he got the offers pulled from LSU and Texas. That's the reason why he was only a 3-star recruit. He really only had North Texas and Houston and a couple other schools that were really interested in him. The reason why he ended up going with North Texas instead was because Rob Gronkowski's coach at Arizona was the head coach at Seth Littrell, head coach of North Texas, which is the reason why he decided to go over there, which is a big reason why he decided that over Houston. Houston doesn't use too much tight ends around anyways, so I think he made a great decision going to North Texas. It just sucks that he couldn't stick with the D1 offers the LSU and Texas as they were removed after he didn't really play his junior year, and then the COVID season wiped out his senior year, unfortunately. But let me know who you guys think down below deserves to be in the top 10 tight ends. Who do you guys would have? Who would you guys rather have? Are you guys excited for the season? We're less than 50 days away. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.